Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Cathy McGrath, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 17, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. And today's issue of the Neepawa Banner and Press is for Friday, June 7th, 2024. And on the front, Neepawa earns accolades at Edom Awards. The town wins provincial award in economic development. And pictured in the back row from left to right, Chief Administrative Officer Colleen Sinchishin, Mayor Brian Headley, Deputy Mayor Mary Purritt, Councillor Daryl Gerard, Councillor Yvonne Sisley, Councillor Marika Kostenchuk, and Councillor Jason Nadeau. The front row from left to right, Councillor Lisa Pottinger and Economic Development Officer Marilyn Crew pose with the Edom Award the town received for the Neepawa Training Centre project by Owen Devereaux. The forward thinking of Neepawa's community leaders has not gone unnoticed, as we were recently recognized by the Economic Development Association of Neepawa, Edom. Last week, the town won a province-wide award for the best economic development project over $100,000. The award is one of 4 presented every year by Edom during its annual Economic Forum and General Meeting. The specific category recognizes a project or activity in that has or will have significant and long-term economic effect. The criteria that must include: the total project cost must be over $100,000. The project could be replicated. It must have local, regional, or provincial scope, be community or business focused, and demonstrate significant impact to community region. And continuing, Neepawa's retrofit of RCMP building wins award, and pictured in this picture, left to right, Economic Development Officer Marilyn Crew, Chief Administrative Officer Colleen Sinchishin, Deputy Mayor Murray Parrott are on hand to accept an award for Neepawa at the 8th Annual Manitoba Economic Development Awards from Portage la Prairie EDO Eve O'Leary on the right. As for what Neepawa was specifically honored for, it was the renovation of the former RCM building on Mill Street. The facility was retrofitted into a modern teaching space, now occupied by Assiniboine Community College, ACC, and its 2-year, 25-student practical nursing diploma program. Deputy Mayor and Councillor Murray Parrott, CAO Colleen Sinchishin, and EDO Marilyn Crew were on hand to accept the award for Neepawa. Speaking on behalf of the town, Mayor Brian Headley told the Banner and Press it was an honor for the Neepawa Training Centre to be recognized by the Economic Developers Association of Manitoba as a project of significant investment creating impact to a community and region. The training centre was recognized as an excellent example of a sustainable way to support local individuals looking for education and, as a result, improve our community as a whole. This is the second time Neepawa has been recognized at the Edom Awards. The previous time was in 2019 as the Project of the Year for the Storefront Improvement Program. And continuing, the cookie campaign raises $14,000 for food bank expansion. Tim Hortons fundraiser generates massive local support. And pictured, Amanda Nottingale on the left of the Salvation Army Neepawa Community Ministries Centre accepts the ceremonial check from the Tim Hortons Smile Cookie campaign from Greg Crisanti, third from right, and the staff at the Neepawa Tim Hortons by Owen Devereaux. There were plenty of smiles to go around in Neepawa recently, thanks to the success of Tim Hortons' annual Smile Cookie campaign. Every year, Tim Hortons franchises across Canada rally behind the week-long Smile Cookie campaign, which donates 100% of proceeds to local charities. This year's local recipient, the Salvation Army Neepawa Community Ministries Center, NCMC, has received $14,093.30, which is going towards a planned expansion of the local food bank. The NCMC has agreed to a lease of more space at its current location at 342 Mountain Avenue and is proceeding with the creation of a larger, more shopping-style type local food bank. It will also include a community kitchen, expanded training space, new offices, and a reception center. Community Ministers Director Amanda Nightingale said that the additional $14,000 in support exceeds her expectations. I was hoping for $10,000, so to hit $14,000, that is an amazing number, said Nightingale. This is going towards our community services expansion project. That's going to go towards furnishings, ensuring that we have a welcome area and has tables and chairs and a reception desk, things that will make our guests welcome. Nightingale was thankful to local Tim Hortons franchise owner and operator Greg Crisanti for his incredible support. It's a big project, so anything like this is really a huge blessing. Thanks to Greg for being such a great partner. He reached out to us and asked how they may be able to help out, and it just happened to be that we were talking about the food bank expansion project and said that sounded like a perfect match. We're just so lucky to be able to have great partners and great donors like that who support the work we're doing in the community, said Nightingale. The Banner and Press reached out to Greg Crisanti to get Tim Hortons' perspective on the Smile Cookie results. He said the community of Neepawa consistently steps up to support the campaign, and this year was no exception. Smile Cookie is a favorite week of mine, and I'm sure the rest of my team would agree. The cooperation with our charities, volunteers, and the energy it brings to the restaurant here in Neepawa is amazing. It feels like the whole town is in it together, excited to support our incredible community, said Crisanti. We know our Smile Cookie proceeds will be put to a fantastic use with the Neepawa Salvation Army's food bank expansion project. Huge thank you to everyone who purchased a Smile Cookie and all our fantastic volunteers who made this possible. And looking back in the past, from 1974, the Drilling Company Seeks Iron near Neepawa by Casper Waran. And we'll start 125 years ago, Wednesday, June 7th, 1899. Freeland. Those who ordered evergreen trees got a surprise when they came, as they were to be from 6 to 12 feet high, but when they arrived, it was from 6 to 12 inches. Freeland. It looks as if the Freeland football team have all deserted the good sport, as they have failed to show up this year at all. Rocky Mountain tea is not just a laxative. It's a wonderful remedy for every kind of ache, constipation, indigestion, bad blood. Ask your druggist. The new cream freezer, Polar Star, specially built for the manufacture of ice cream, is one of the latest novelties in town. One was purchased by John Smale on Tuesday afternoon and at once put into operation. The ice is crushed and placed with salt in an oblong vessel, at the end of which has a wooden roller goes through the middle with space enough to allow the cream, when frozen, to pass through. The handle is turned and ice cream in all its richness is manufactured in 30 seconds. 100 years ago, 1924, Edrons. A sure sign of summer was evident last Thursday when the crowd gathered for cleanup day on the Edrons Community Sports Ground. 75 years ago, 1949, Miss Florence Mann was awarded the Governor General's Medal last night at the graduation exercises of the Neepawa Collegiate Institute, held in the Knox Presbyterian Church. Miss Mann is the daughter of Mrs. T. Mann and the late T. Mann of Neepawa. 50 years ago, 1974, and pictured on the right, this rig owned by Midwest Drilling was drilling for iron ore in the Neepawa area around this time in 1974. Drilling for iron ore has been in progress for the past weeks at the site 5 miles southeast of town, and the rig, owned by Midwest Drilling of Winnipeg, has reached the 1,300-foot level. It will be about 2 weeks until the actual ore body is penetrated at the 2,500-foot depth, and core samples can be brought up for examination. The project is being undertaken by Tudel Exploration Limited, who are optimistic that the ore body is one of the largest in North America. If their findings prove favorable, they will have a bearing on the Saskatchewan government's proposal to construct a large ore reduction plant and expansion of the interprovincial pipe and steel company facilities. 20 years ago, 2004, Neepawa hosted a special event last weekend, the 50th anniversary of the Manitoba Junior Rifle Club. Neepawa was awarded the right to host the 50th anniversary because it was the first community to organize a junior rifle club. Opponents of proposal to bring sewer and water to the village of Arden argue the expense will far outweigh the benefits. It would cost a whole lot less to develop an outhouse on every property than sewer and water, said Valerie Wilson, the most vocal opponent at last Wednesday's public meeting in the village. Arden has been here for 100 years, and we've had no environmental problems. We should be good for another 100 years. Wilson's optimistic view isn't shared by the village council, which has been working on bringing water and sewer in for the past 4 years. The proposed water project in Arden is actually temporary. Long-term plans call for tapping the Assiniboine Delta aquifer to supply water to the RMs of Langford, Westburn, and Arden, Plumas, and Ogilvie. The water would be treated in Neepawa before being piped to those communities. The Gladstone District Complex Committee has already raised $277,000 for the construction of a new $1.3 million multi-use community facility. And 2 Minnesotans are the recipients of Manitoba Access Achievements Awards. Nancy Taylor, a resident of the Minnedosa Care Home, was recognized for spearheading a fundraising drive for the stretcher tub. Meanwhile, Dennis Zabrell was recognized as an excellent role model for people with disabilities. Zabrell played defense on a hockey team that recently won a gold medal at the World Amputee Hockey Championships in Prague, the Czech Republic. And moving on, we come to the editorial by Ken Waddell. And again, the views expressed in this column are the writer's personal views and are not to be taken as being the view of the Banner and Press staff. Nastiness is neither nice nor necessary. I don't believe there has been a nastier time in politics, and that applies to all levels. The U.S. political scene spirals ever downward with each passing day. Donald Trump has been convicted on 34 charges, but rest assured he will appeal the ruling. It remains to be seen when all these charges and many others will come crashing down on him. In the meantime, the court case has proven to be a huge fundraiser incentive for him. It's reported that his fundraising website crashed from oversubscribing within minutes of the court decision on the 34 cases. President Joe Biden appears to be more senile as the days go by. This week, his son Hunter is in court on gun possession charges, and both generations of Biden seem to have their share of legal troubles. When coupled with the many verbal slips that Joe makes, the whole family seems to be in trouble. This is an election year in the U.S., and I have said many times that that country is in trouble if Trump and Biden are the best candidates they can come up with for president of the most powerful country in the world. The U.S. claims to be a nation of faith, so I suggest they increase their level of prayer as soon as possible. The Canadian political scene is fortunately much calmer than the U.S. situation, at least on the surface. I have made it well known that I am not a fan of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. He got elected because he looked younger than Stephen Harper, appeared fresher than Harper's government, and he promised to decriminalize marijuana. Trudeau's marijuana venture was an ill-fated move, not so much for the legalization part, but because so many people lost so much money on it. Can't actually blame Justin for people's bad investment choices. A new report from Miller Thompson found Canadians have lost more than $131 billion investing in the 183 publicly traded cannabis companies, amounting to $43,000 per Canadian that's gone up in smoke. That is a staggering amount of money. I guess the government licensed weed is too expensive compared to the black market stuff. The Trudeau government is not very popular now, and unless things turn sharply for them, they will be ousted. The election is due for October 2025, and a lot can change in 16 months. On the provincial level, there's been a lot more nastiness than needed as well. Many months before the last Manitoba election, I was asked for advice by then Premier Heather Stephenson. I told her not to let the upcoming campaign go negative and nasty, but that advice was not taken. I offered the same advice to newly elected Premier Wab Kinew. Ironically, even though he benefited greatly from public backlash to the PC badly run campaign of negativity, he himself has swerved in that direction. Nasty is not nice, in my view. At various Manitoba municipal levels, we have seen some nastiness and some outright misuse of funds. That is also unfortunate and doesn't make for smooth-running municipalities. I guess my point is that honesty, common sense, and decency are all attributes we need to embrace and hang on to tightly. Nastiness has no place in public discourse. And Home Buddies by Rita Friesen. 10-minute tasks. It's a rare phenomenon. I am energized with energy to spare. Nope, my sleeping hasn't improved much. However, I have been more aware of the amount of sugar that I consume and cut back on them. Ari and I are walking 4 to 6 miles a day simply because we can. We have both time and energy to enjoy 2 or 3 excursions a day. I am keeping up with the yard work and garden stuff to the point where I am able to maintain wee portion of the garden on Elizabeth. So many volunteers. It will look fantastic. Even the routine of the day, I have minutes with no assigned purpose, so I make a list of 10-minute tasks. Ready before scheduled departure time, or simply restless? Pick a task, any task, and one item gets stroked off the list, and something productive is achieved. I misjudged the one project. It takes more than 10 minutes to shift the couch and chairs and vacuum under them, vacuum them, shake the throws, and reassemble the space. But it did feel good to get that done. It didn't take a full 10 minutes to tidy the entrance, so I expanded by taking a few minutes to sort the garage tools that found their way in this winter and never found their way back home. No wonder I can't find items in the garage where they belong when they're hiding in the house. I can't count the number of times I walked past the shelving unit in the garage and thought, that needs cleaning. 10 minutes, and a few more, and the shelves and their contents were clean and drying. There is a massive solid copper chrome-plated 1-gallon kettle that belonged to my maternal grandmother. I remember Grandma groaning, heating the water in it for coffee for the family gatherings. Considering she raised 12 children, I imagine it may have been filled more than once on a Sunday afternoon. There is a collection of sad irons, from early ones heated on the wood stove to ones that have their own little fuel tank. Little wonder they are called sad irons. I own an iron. It's used for pressing seams when I sew, not keeping white shirts crisp and aprons cease free. I always spend a few minutes remembering Pete, the miner from Spring Hill, who gave us his helmet and battery, knowing that he had miner's lung and wanted to be remembered, even way out in the middle of Manitoba. In 10 minutes, I can clear 2 feet of the countertop in the garage, actually putting things where they belong, and gaining space to properly work on another project. Ed's rule for me borrowing his tools was to put them back where I found them. He knew where he had used them last, and better than knowing where they belonged. Now I try to keep some semblance of order. I have written thank you notes and thinking of you notes in 10 minutes. I have also played solitaire or Sudoku for 10 minutes. And sometimes I have simply sat. And Faithfully Yours by Neil Stroshine, The Healing Power of Laughter. I will never forget the 3rd Sunday of Advent, December 18th of 2005. I was returning to Neepawa following a Sunday service. I received a phone telling me that my girlfriend, now my wife, Catherine, had suffered a massive stroke. I also was told that she was in one of the intensive care units at the Health Science Center in Winnipeg, and that, assuming she made it through the next week to 10 days, she faced a long, slow road to recovery. As soon as I received that call, I knew my life would never be the same. What I didn't know was how much it would change. 18 years have passed since that day, and of all the things for which I am thankful, 2 stand out. First, Catherine has survived and is walking the road to full recovery with persistence, courage, and unbridled optimism. Second, Catherine's stroke, as serious as it was, did not take away her sense of humor or her razor-sharp wit. She is able to see the humor in many of her experiences and allows us to laugh with her at the happenings that are truly funny. And she has helped me see, experience, and gain a deep appreciation for the healing power of laughter. There are times when we all said or do things that are genuinely funny. If we can't allow ourselves to laugh at them, life will become very depressing very quickly. In our house, we capitalize on the funny moments we experience, and we've had many of them. Here's one example. When I first met Catherine, was an excellent speller, which was a good thing since she worked as a writer and a TV producer. After her stroke, she had to learn how to write and spell all over again. Thanks to weekly sessions with a superb speech therapist, assignments on paper, games she plays online, several apps she has on her smartphone, and 18 years of hard work, she has regained much of that skill. But every so often, something happens that makes us both laugh, and I share the following story with Catherine's permission. As part of her speech therapy, Catherine's therapist suggested that she start making lists, grocery lists, shopping lists, itineraries, etc. One of those lists contained an item I had never seen on a grocery list before: Tex-Mex shredded cheese. When I asked Catherine what that product was, she laughed and said, "I know it's not spelled right, but what's missing?" What was missing was the letter R. The actual product is Tex-Mex shredded cheese, a vital ingredient in some of the dinner meals we enjoy. We still laugh about this and love sharing this story with others. Many years ago, King Solomon wrote these words: "A cheerful heart is a good medicine, but a downcast spirit dries up the bones." Proverbs 17:22. I can assure you that these words are true. Catherine and I have experienced the healing power of laughter on many occasions. Laughter has helped us ease tension in our home, take the sting out of hardships and trials, and release the joy that makes each day a delight. We are fortunate to be surrounded by friends who love a good laugh as much as we do, or with whom we can exchange truly funny personal stories. I hope we can keep laughing and experiencing its healing power for the rest of our lives, because I can't think of a better way to spend the years I have left, however many that may be. And pictured beautiful Plains Museum history, the nurses of 1913. And pictured here are nurses from the class of 1913. This photo was taken in December of that year. Pictured here, starting in the back row, Mrs. McCallum, Miss Whitman, Miss Molson, and Miss Bray. The front row, Miss Esselmont and Miss Morrison. And letters to the editor. If we are here today, it is because of them. At one time, I have been told, the Government of Canada did have intentions of awarding a Canadian decoration to those who were involved with Operation Neptune, as it was codenamed, titled back then. But what happened to those plans is anyone's guess. The French consul member Bruno Bernichon, who pinned the French Legion's Medal of Honor medal on several D-Day veterans, had this to say, as he explained the decision to honor those who liberated France. 2 years ago, at one of our meetings, the question was asked, "What can we do?" I said, "What do we lose by giving them the highest honor? If we are here today, it is because of them. If we are here today, it is because of them." Somber, grim words indeed. Sadly, our Government of Canada hasn't recognized their contribution in a similar manner, nor have they recognized the contributions of the Cold War veterans proudly served Canada from 1950 to 1990. Lest we forget, John Fefchak, a Cold War veteran from Virden, Manitoba. And thumbs up and thumbs down. Thumbs up to the wonderful staff at our hospital last Saturday evening for taking real good care of Jake after his fall. It was very much appreciated. Thank you, Alice and Jake DeBeer of Neepawa. And we move on again. Golfers to hit the green for accessible playground. Date set for the Touchwood Park 28th Annual Charity Golf Tournament by Casper Warren. Avid golfers will be teeing off next month in support of community accessibility with Touchwood Park's 28th Annual Charity Golf Tournament. The 2024 edition of this sporting event will be held at the Neepawa Golf and Country Club on July 29th. It will be an 18-hole Texas scramble with a shotgun start at 12:30, with a supper following at the Yellowhead Center. Funds raised from this event will benefit the Accessible Playground project, which is to be built at 445 Commerce for use by the general public. It is designed to be an inclusive space for all who to enjoy, regardless of ability. The charity golf tourney has spaces for 36 teams, a total of 144 golfers, and according to Touchwood Park Executive Director Arlie Wilson, responses are rapidly being received. Registration is filled on a first-come, first-served basis and is filling up quickly, said Wilson. Wilson added, "We at Touchwood Park are very honored and appreciative of the ongoing support of the tournament from the local businesses, organizations, and golfers making this event a success each year." Prepping for install, Wilson also provided details of the current status of the playground. As of June 3rd, a total of $144,700 has been raised. This is close to 50% of the total cost and comes from a combination of personal donations, bequests, grants, local organization fundraising events, business donations, and Touchwood Park events, such as the annual golf tournament, over the past 2 years. The balance of this project will be attained by applying for grant opportunities and fundraising. Touchwood Park is currently in the stage of site preparations for the installation of equipment, Wilson shared. The equipment was delivered last week, and in the coming weeks, Touchwood Park will be seeking volunteers for the equipment installation. Wilson added, after the equipment is installed, the final stage will be to cover the base with pour-in-place rubber, which provides a seamless transition onto the play surface, promoting accessibility between structures. Anyone wishing to participate in the golf tournament should sign up before the spots are full. To register, golfers are asked to reach out via phone at 204-704-0187 or 204-476-6614 or by email via hpancrantz@touchwoodpark.ca. If interested in assisting with the installation of playground equipment, people may reach out to Touchwood Park via the aforementioned phone numbers. WMYC Alumni Choir heads to Carnegie Hall, submitted. Pictured above are members of the Westman Youth Choir's Alumni Choir, which will perform at Carnegie Hall. New York City's Carnegie Hall is considered a bucket list performance opportunity for even the most accomplished musicians and performers. On Sunday, June 9th, 25 Manitobans will be taking the stage there as part of the showcase of a Grammy Award-winning composer's work. The 25 singers are alumni from the Westman Youth Choir and will be part of a 209-person mega choir comprised of singers from not only across North America, but international participants as well. Alongside an orchestra, they will be conducted by acclaimed composer and 2-time Grammy Award winner Christopher Tin to perform 7 songs in 4 languages. How did this opportunity come to be? The board of the Westman Youth Choir, a regional choir that was established in 1980, was contracted by members of the DCINY Carnegie Hall team after they heard the 2008 choir's recording of one of Tin's most famous works, Baba Yatu. Choir alumni was offered a chance to sing in the concert celebrating Tin's work. This opportunity was shared to as many alumni as possible via social media and word of mouth, and 25 alumni from the years 1985 to 2023 seized the opportunity. Shannon Moses, music teacher and alumni of the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra, has conducted the group in practice sessions in order to prepare them for the New York performance. The Westman Youth Choir alumni and McGill University are the 2 Canadian choirs participating. There is a wide region of representation from across Manitoba, with singers hailing from Winnipeg, Brandon, Neepawa, Virden, Killarney, Deloraine, Melita, Oak Lake, and Carnduff, Saskatchewan. Siri Wawarek of Neepawa will be participating in this one-of-a-kind opportunity. And musical fun in Arden. Photo was submitted by Diane Warner. Musical artist and songwriter Rob Waddell brought some lively entertainment to Arden this past weekend. And pictured here is Waddell as he sang and played his guitar during one of his performances. And D-Day 80th, a tribute to war amputee veterans, submitted by the War Amps of Canada. On June 6, 1944, a pivotal moment unfolded as thousands of Canadian soldiers stormed Juno Beach in Normandy, in the heavily German-fortified coast of France. Excuse me. As the world prepares to commemorate the 80th anniversary of D-Day and the Battle of Normandy, the War Amps paid homage to the Canadians who made the ultimate sacrifice during the invasion and the resilience of those who returned home severely wounded, missing many missing limbs. These were young men from small towns and the inner cities embodying the true spirit of citizen soldiers during the Second World War. Driven by patriotism, adventure, or simply a sense of duty, they enlisted with the Canadian Army, unaware that they would become the vanguard of the Allied invasion of Europe. Among them were the individuals like Ron Reed, Gavin Hickey, Bob Ross, Jim Parsons, Bill Neal, and Dave Ingram. Ron Reed of Torbay, Newfoundland, suffered severe injuries upon landing on Juno Beach. Amidst relentless enemy machine fire and mortar fire, he lost his left leg above the knee. Gavin Hickey, hailing from Durham Centre, New Brunswick, was a mere 19 years old when his regiment stormed Juno Beach. Wounded during the battle for Carpiquet, he lost his left leg below the knee and his left hand. Bob Ross of Niagara Falls, Ontario, was injured during heavy enemy shelling at the Battle of Hill 195, resulting in the loss of his leg above the knee. Many years later, he reflected on his experience and shared, "It was an ordeal. I don't think I would do it again because maybe I couldn't come back the next time." Jim Parsons, a local of Sherbrooke, Quebec, landed on Juno Beach on D-Day and fought his way inland. Later that year, he lost his left hand and forearm due to an injury. He received a mention in dispatches for his bravery in hauling a troop commander out of a burning tank despite having a badly shattered arm. Bill Neal from Winnipeg and Dave Ingram of Edmonton, Alberta, were also severely injured during the invasion. Neal, wounded in the Battle of Falaise when his armored car was hit, lost his left arm above the elbow. Ingram lost his left leg above the knee and part of his right heel after stepping on a landmine during a sniper patrol. When they returned to Canada, these brave soldiers became members of the War Amps, which was started by amputee veterans returning from the First World War to help each other adapt to their new reality as amputees. Rob Larman, a senior advisor at the War Amps and a leg amputee himself, said, "In the Battle of Normandy, many Canadians died or suffered wounds they had to carry for the rest of their lives. As we mark the 80th anniversary of D-Day, it's important that we never forget." A special day at Burnie Nursery School. Pictured, this photo sent to the Banner and Press shows the kids at the Burnie Nursery School receiving a special visitor on May 28th. Ben Brodeur of the Eden Fire Department stopped by to provide an informative demonstration of the equipment and teach some of the important lessons of fire safety. A special thanks to Ben and Fire Chief Brian Friesen for bringing the new truck over and providing the class with a special day. The kids loved it. And a mystery Manitoba car finds its way to a new home in Missouri by Gary Snecki, submitted, and pictured Larry Allen stands next to his 1958 Canadian-built Pontiac. It isn't every day that a Canadian-built 1958 Pontiac bearing Manitoba plates shows up at a Route 66 festival in Lebanon, Missouri, 1,769 kilometers from Neepawa. But that happened Saturday, June 1st, when Larry Allen's Parisienne convertible competed for a People's Choice Award at the Lebanon Route 66 Festival. It did not win. A 2023 Dodge Challenger collected the most votes of the more than 150 cars and trucks at the festival's car show. But Allen's stunning black with white trim Pontiac attracted plenty of attention. First, Allen isn't from Manitoba. He had a relatively short 2-hour drive from Lockwood, Missouri, also in the Ozarks, to the festival. And he no longer has the paperwork that says when the car was last registered in the province. Although below the grille is a 1958 Manitoba plate, yellow lettering on black, with a bison in the lower left corner. Allen bought the car in 2005 at an auction in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It was advertised in the Springfield paper as a 58 Bonneville with a free 48 engine, Alan recalled. Alan went to see the car in Arkansas. Everybody was walking around it, and I knew it wasn't a Bonneville. As a Pontiac fan, Alan knew that a 58 Bonneville would have a 370 engine, not a 348. The auctioneer explained that it actually was a Parisienne, the Canadian equivalent of a Bonneville, built in the GM plant in Oshawa, Ontario. Alan bought the car, and the auctioneer mailed him the Parisian nameplates, which a previous owner had replaced with Bonneville nameplates. Actually, the Parisienne isn't a true match for the Bonneville. Alan explained that the car sits on a Chevrolet Impala frame, from the windshield forward, including the 348 tri-power engine. The car is a Chevrolet. He learned later that buying the car, that the rear quarter panels resemble those of an Edsel because they had the same designer. We've had a ball with it, Alan said. We've driven it to California twice, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Kansas. World traveled. Alan, who owns a rock quarry, said he has too many cars, but he has plans for this one. My granddaughter is going to get it. She's a car girl. Gary Sisnecki is a retired journalist from Missouri who belongs to the same newspaper organization, the International Society of Weekly Newspaper Editors, as banner and press owners Ken and Christine Waddell. Gary and his wife visited Neepawa 2 years ago en route to Roddy Martin National Park. Helping people, what it's all about. Upcoming event at Neepawa's DQ to support the Youth Drop-In Center by Casper Warren. A tasty collaboration in support of a youth-focused initiative is coming to Neepawa later this month. On June 20th, from 4:30 to 8, a portion of proceeds from all food sold at Neepawa's Dairy Queen, DQ, will go towards savings for the construction of a new youth drop-in center in Minnedosa. The construction of the drop-in is being spearheaded by the Valley Life Family Worship Center, VLFWC, formerly the Calvary Church. Essentially, we're building a gym so the kids can come and have fun. We regularly have 50 kids come to our programs and need more room. About 75% of those 50 are regular visitors and come every week, said Reverend Don Dragon, making note of the programs as Just Youth and Kids Jam. We have a big focus on youth in the community. We host an annual harvest festival that attracts about 300 people from the community and the area. What we've noticed over the years is that there is a need for a place for youth and children to go. In addition to providing a place to gather and a variety of activities to get involved in, the goal of the drop-in center is to create a safe space for youth. The vision for the nearly 9,000 square foot community-focused space would see it primarily used for expanded children's and youth after-school and evening programming, accessibility to sports, after-school homework help, family game days, movie nights, and more. I think this is an amazing idea for their community, our community too. I think some of our teens here might be interested in using that service, said Pam Brown, owner-manager of Neepawa DQ. So we wanted to get involved and do our part for the communities. Brown added, the main reason for our success is the fact that the community and surrounding communities show us so much love and support. It's important for us to do the same. Without the community, we would be nothing. Potential to expand. As part of the fundraising activities on June 20th, volunteers in association with the Drop-In Center initiative will be getting involved on site, aiding in the serving of food and flipping blizzards. Additionally, the VLFWC will have 50-50 tickets available for purchase. There will be info about the Youth Drop-In Center available at the event as well, said Reverend Dragon. In further discussions, Reverend Dragon noted that the new building that includes the Youth Drop-In Center will replace the current VLFWC building. This structure is also planned to have a meeting space, a kitchen, and a space for VLFWC's church congregation. The total cost of the building, once fully furnished, is estimated to be $3.4 million. Since public fundraising began in February of this year, approximately $70,000 has been raised thus far. We really want to get the youth drop-in running and then go from there. Once we've achieved that and we have it running well, we can expand from there, Reverend Dragon said, sharing his desire to potential items include such as youth cooking programs and supports for those dealing with addictions. If we can help people, that's what it's all about. In his final words, Reverend Reagan encouraged all interested to come out and enjoy the fundraiser evening, stating, "Come, have a drink, a burger, support Westman and the community. No gift is too big or too small. Thank you for supporting our new drop-in center." And sneak peek, Beautiful Plains Museum. The Beautiful Plains Museum is located at the west end of Hamilton Street in Neepawa by Stacy McGrath. Was fashion always a big deal, or is it only cool to keep up with the trends today? How did kids complete school assignments without computers before? Why were the first cameras so big, and what did photographers need to know in the past? Find out answers to these questions and lots more when you visit the museum this summer. My name is Stacy McGrath, and I am the summer curator of the Beautiful Plains Museum this year. I am a third-year science education major at Maranatha Baptist University in Wisconsin. In my free time, I like to be outside with my family, hike, run, and play board games. This year at the museum, you can expect to see new displays, find activities like old-fashioned games for kids, old family records and pictures, and the impact and artifacts of Indigenous peoples from the past. Whether you have only half an hour or an afternoon to tour the museum, it's worth it to stop by. If you have lived in the Beautiful Plains area your whole life and are able to trace back where your ancestors settled here, then you may find records, pictures, or memories. On the other hand, if you've only lived in the area for a couple of years or a newcomer, you can go back in time and see what Neepawa and the surrounding area was like. There are old photographs of what Mountain Avenue used to look like before people drove cars. The museum is now open Tuesday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and starting in July on Sundays from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. If you have general questions, feel free to call us at 204-476-3896 or after hours at 204-212-2723. We are located at 991 Hamilton Street, Neepawa. Hope to see you explore and learn new things about the past. And the Super Thrifty Drugs hosts a ribbon-cutting ceremony in Neepawa by Owen Devereaux. Neepawa Super Thrifty owner and operator Heather Sackett at Center prepares to cut the ribbon during the official grand opening of the business under its new ownership. Left and Right, Grace Burney, and Super Thrifty Drugs Canada President Jennifer Ludwig help Heather with the ribbon cutting on Friday, May 31st by Owen Devereaux. Neepawa Super Thrifty Drugs has celebrated its official arrival in Neepawa. Though the business, formerly known as Neepawa Pharmacy, has been operational under new ownership since April, the formal ribbon-cutting ceremony at 225 Ellen Street was held off until Friday, May 31st. The festivities were delayed to allow new owner and operator Heather Sackett time to transition the day-to-day operations to the Super Thrifty model. Sackett said that while the change involved a lot of long nights and hard work, on a day like this, it was worth it. I am just so grateful to Neepawa for the support I have felt from the community. It has really been rewarding and reassuring, said Sackett. The staff as well have been amazing throughout the process, and I feel really grateful. Honestly, it has been a lot of work to try to change the pharmacy to the vision of what I hope it will become. Super Thrifty Drugs Canada is one of the last of independently owned pharmacy chains remaining in Canada. First started in Brandon in 1977, it is made up of local shareholders with 16 franchises in 11 communities across Manitoba. Super Thrifty Drugs Canada President Jennifer Ludwig was on hand for the opening ceremonies and said adding Neepawa to the fold is very meaningful to them. For Super Thrifty as a group, Neepawa has been on our radar for quite some time. The opportunity just hadn't made itself available, noted Ludwig. Partnering with Heather on this, I think it's a great fit. We are happy to see her take ownership of the pharmacy and join us. To go along with the ribbon cutting, there was also a barbecue held, which was a fundraiser for Touchwood Park and its planned playground expansion. The final numbers from that will appear in the upcoming edition of the Banner and Press. And a dog retrieves mystery woodcraft. Victor Wootka brought in this item to the Neepawa Banner and Press recently. He was out walking with his dog around Tenby, Manitoba. One of his dogs retrieved this piece of woodwork, which appears to perhaps be a sculpted and assembled tool from a field. The item was a puzzling discovery, and it is unknown how old it may be. If anyone has any information which may help solve the mystery, please contact the Banner and Press via email at news@neepawabanner.com or phone at 204-476-3401 or dropping by into the office at 423 Mountain Avenue in Neepawa. And Old Canada, scenes at Riding Mountain National Park. Riding Mountain National Park, RMNP, is quite the picturesque location. Featured here are some views from Riding Mountain's past. The top photo, taken in days gone by, the camera catches a group of individuals out for a stroll. An above photo, in approximately 1942, a group of people have just finished enjoying some time on the beach and a swim in the lake. Volt hockey, an emerging sport in western Manitoba. Westman Volt hockey teams are pictured above. All players and staff are from Brandon, except as known Dylan Unger, center front, is from Neepawa. Westman Volt, Team White, Bryce Collister, Xander Wallen, Dylan Unger, Neepawa, Daniel Lorenko, Matt Caskew, coaches Cathy Critchlow, James LeBrew, and Sawyer Wallen. Westman Volt Team Black, Alex Telfair, Anishkika Chimba, Beckett Black, Chance Toder, Elkhorn, Ethan Hall, and coaches Shane Black, Nolan Imlack, and Dan Landry. By Perry Gergson of the Manitoba Sun. And the note, this article has been reprinted with permission from the Brandon Sun. It has to be edited for available space. The original version of this article can be seen online at www.brandonsun.com. Westman Volt hockey came home without a victory from nationals this weekend, but you can chalk it up as a big win anyway. It was the organization's second trip to nationals in Scarborough, Ontario, and while they won an unlikely Division II gold medal a year ago, just after the program was founded by Chad and Michelle Wallen, it wasn't to be this year. The Volt hockey features athletes with intellectual or mobility disabilities who guide carts with a small hockey stick on the front around a rink in a gymnasium. It was a large success for these kids, Wallen said. The fact some of them have never traveled on a bus before and never traveled on a plane before and never worn a jersey or represented a team. Those in itself are all huge wins for these kids and these families. At the end of the day, with any kids' sports, the highlights is always the time you spend in the pool or at the hotel with your buddies and doing that kind of stuff. The local association sent a pair of 5-person teams on the weekend after fielding just one last season, with just 2 veterans returning to allow as many athletes as possible to have the experience. The entourage left early on May 23rd on a bus for their flight in Winnipeg and flew to Toronto. After they arrived, it was time to get checked into their hotel and order some pizza. On Friday, they had a day off, so they hit a number of sites in downtown Toronto. On Saturday, they had to be on hand for opening ceremonies at 9 a.m. and then a busy day of games. Team Black, which was coached by Shane Black, Nolan Imlack, and Dan Landry, included Alex Telfair, Beckett Black, Chance Toder, Ethan Hall, and returning veteran, and Shikad Shimba. They lost 5-4 in overtime, 6-3 and 7-4. Telfair and Black each had 1 goal in the tournament, with Chimba scoring the other 9. Team White, which was coached by Cathy Critchlow, James LeBrew, and Sawyer Wallen, included Bryce Collister, Dylan Unger, Daniel Lorenko, Matt Caskew, and returning veteran Xander Wallen. They lost 5-2, 6-2, and 7-3, with Wallen scoring all 7 goals. 4 Division I clubs and 7 Division II teams participated in the event, and Wallen said the coaches quickly discovered they have to do a better job of skill development. But he added they learn a little more about the game every day they see it played at a high level. At the same time, the Ontario athletes have opportunities that simply don't exist in Manitoba, where there are no other teams within hundreds of kilometers. If winning was the most important thing, you may have seen the same 5 kids on the gym floor as last year. Instead, 8 new players and their families had a chance to enjoy the trip too. Our goal has always been to give as many people the opportunities and the experiences that we can, Wallen said. At the end of the day, what we did last year was pretty cool, and who knows if we'll ever replicate that, but they were equally as excited this year, just getting the medal they got that they could all wear. That's the gold medal to them, and the gold medal to our program is just providing the opportunity for those athletes to play and get to experience new things. The winning and the hockey itself are secondary to the life experience. In total, 35 people made the trip, including athletes, coaches, and family members. Wallen, who served as liaison for the two teams after helping coach a year ago, said the big group did themselves proud. If there was a gold medal for team spirit and enthusiasm and sportsmanship, there is no doubt Westmanvold hockey would have had that. We had people commenting all weekend on how awesome it was to see that many people in the crowd and the support and how we behaved and how well-mannered our athletes were. Right down to everyone loved our jerseys. I think they represented Western Manitoba really well. The National Championship is the final event of the season for Westmanvold hockey, which will start up again in late September. They had nearly 30 participants in their weekly sessions this winter, which was pretty much maxing out their 12 carts. Wallace isn't sure what the future holds for their participation in nationals, noting it's a massive financial commitment to take even one team to Toronto. He said future plans depend on the support of the community, which has always been generous in the past. We'll continue taking kids and giving them these experiences along as we can and with as many people as we can, whether that's Toronto or to Calgary or to Sweden, Wallen said. Who knows where that will take us? As long as those opportunities exist, we'll be working hard to make sure we can get these players the experience because it's a pretty cool feeling. It's also an unlikely feeling for a group of people who have spent their lives following relatives to their events or cheering for teams in sports they can't play. This time, they're the team, which has special value for both the athletes and their families. Finally, in their lifetime, they found something where they fit in and they belong and can be part of a team, part of a culture, Wallen said. As a parent, you're just happy there's a spot for them and they have a chance to be normal athlete or a normal kid. They formed relationships and made bonds, and you could see the parents bonding too. It's pretty neat to watch the parents connect over some of the differences that they experience that a lot of people, unless you're in that situation, would never know these challenges exist. They're a good support system for each other and a good network. It's a neat little family we have going here. And continuing with sports, Austin's A's double up Neepawa Cubs by Owen Devereaux. Pitcher Alex Clausen tallied 10 strikeouts over 7 innings to help the Austin Athletics earn a 6-3 victory over the Neepawa Cubs on Wednesday, May 29th. To go along with notching the double-digit Ks, Clausen also gave up just 7 combined hits and 0 walks. Despite facing a pitcher that seemed to have his best stuff going out on their mound, the Cubs did keep it close for most of the game before surrendering 3 runs in the top of the 7th. Neepawa pitcher Jordan Wickens took the loss, though his performance over the course of the games did keep the Cubs close throughout. Wickens gave up just 3 earned runs off the 8 hits over the course of 7 innings. He also had 6 strikeouts, 6 walks, and a pair of hit batters. At the plate, the Cubs, for the most part, were kept at bay. A lone exception seemed to be Garrett Rempel, who went 2 for 4 with a stolen base. This loss drops Neepawa record to a 1-2 in the Santa Clara Baseball League, while Austin improves to 1-1. And pictured Alex Clausen of the Austin A's was able to strike out 10 on the way to a complete game victory over the Neepawa Cubs. And the Santa Clara Baseball Weekend results by Owen Devereaux. The Neepawa Cubs clawed back from a 2-run deficit on Friday, May 31st to beat the Minnedosa Mavericks 4-2. Neepawa was able to score all 4 of the runs in the top of the 6th inning, with Cody Pazwiski leading the comeback with a 2-run homer. The round tripper is Cody's 2nd of the season. Cubs pitcher Garrett Rempel picked up his 2nd win of the year, striking out an impressive 12 players over the course of a complete game. He also surrendered just 3 hits and 4 walks. Minnedosa's starting pitcher, Devin Ford, pitched 5 innings and gave up just 1 hit in that span. The Mavericks' middle relief, however, couldn't hold on to the lead and let the Cubs back into it late in the game. Minnedosa's Liam Bakowicz had provided the Mavs with the early lead after driving in a pair of runs in the bottom of the 4th. The Cubs' win improved Neepawa's record on the year to 2-2, while Minnedosa has fallen to 0-4. Elsewhere around the league, in other action, the Portage Padres remained perfect on the year, hosting the Plumas Pirates 14-12. Portage are in first place overall with a 4-0 record, while Plumas was tied for third with Neepawa at 2-2. After losing their first 2 games of the year, the Carberry Royals have won 3 straight, including a 13-4 decision over the Austin A's, 1-2. The Royals has scored a spectacular 44 runs in those 3 games and sit in second place in the standings at 3-2. And the Titans select 7 players in MJHL draft by Owen Devereaux. The Neepawa Titans placed a heavy emphasis on future offensive output in their selections during the 2024 MJHL Brandon draft. 5 of the team's 7 picks were forwards, including their first 4 choices. In the first round, with the 5th overall pick, Neepawa selected forward Tyler Wombold of the Norman North Stars. Last season, the 16-year-old from Thompson had 44 points, 28 goals, 16 assists in 44 games for the under-18 North Stars. For the second round, Neepawa selected first, 14th overall, and called the name of Grayson Slaney, forward for the Eastman Selects. In 44 under-18 games last year, the 16-year-old had 33 points, 14 goals, 19 assists. The other picks for the Titans were forward Ethan Brakery, Central Plains Capitals, 31st pick overall, forward Cole Beard, Southwest Cougars, 43rd overall, defense Joshua Sagiana, Rink Academy, 44th overall, forward Daniel DeGagné, Eastman Selects, 70th overall, and defense Brody Slatcher, Interlake Lightning, 96th overall. As for who was selected with the first pick in the MJHL draft, the Winkler Flyers selected Lane Schofield of LaSalle, who last season suited up with Rink Academy Winnipeg under-17th prep team. The Flyers acquired the number 1 pick in a trade with the Winnipeg Freeze this past season. And Carberry High School Lacrosse by Joan Belkunas, a local journalism initiative. The last week in May was packed full of lacrosse excitement for our Carberry Cougars high school lacrosse team. Tuesday, May 28th, was a rematch against Murdo Mackay, with the Cougars holding their undefeated season strong with a 17-10 win. Wednesday, May 29th, the Cougars faced a doubleheader versus Brandon's Vincent Massey team, a rivalry in the making. Game 1 in Brandon saw the Cougars' best VM with a score of 17-9. Then the entourage traveled home to Carberry to host the second game. We had a tremendous turnout for the windy game, and playing 2 lacrosse games back-to-back is no easy feat. Cougars battled through the fatigue to win 14-8, securing their undefeated season record of 8 wins and 0 losses. Coaches and parents are extremely proud of this team and their tenacity. This week's excitement didn't end there. Playoffs begin. As the number 1 seed, Cougars secured a bye in the first round, awaiting the results of Vincent Massey and Transcona to determine their opponent. VM had a close win with a score of 9-8, and the Westman rivalry went once more time this season. The Cougars were determined to prove their worth and dominated the game with a final score of 16-6. With this win, they will play for the league championship on Sunday, June 9th at 4 p.m. in Winnipeg versus Leo Remenard, which is sure to be a fantastic battle. And 1975 track update, and pictured on the left as an update regarding this photo from the Neepawa Banner and Press's May 31st, 2024 edition has been received. The photo for the other individual along Heather Parrott, pictured left, is Karen Shetler, pictured right, now known as Karen Ferguson. Parrott was a student at NACI at the time, while Ferguson was a student in Gladstone. Thanks is given to Ferguson for getting in touch so we may identify her. For any who may have missed it, the occasion for the photo was the 1975 Manitoba Secondary Schools Athletic Association B track meet. This meet had an Olympic-style kickoff and featured a torch that was carried cross-country by dozens of Manitoba track stars. And NMS Spring Band Concert, pictured on the right. A spring band concert was hosted at the Neepawa Middle School on Wednesday, May 29th. Top photo, Kaylin McDarmid, conducting Neepawa Middle School Choir performing Jay and Tens Le Moulin, accompanied by Blair Chapman. Above, student teacher Mr. Zacharias conducting grade 7 band. And the Old Canada series, the Ball family of Brandon. Pictured here is the Ball family, who, according to Old Canada series, lived in Brandon, Manitoba during some time in the 1880s. They were one of the few black families in the area at the time. According to additional information supplied to the Old Canada series by Black Canadian Veteran Stories, the Ball family was originally of Ontario. Reverend Richard Amos Ball, pictured with guitar at left, was the son of Henry Ball and Sophie Husey. Henry's a fugitive, fleeing to Canada from the United States to escape slavery. Reverend R.A. Ball's first line of work was barbering. He later became involved in, and in 1892 was ordained as a deacon of, the British Methodist Episcopal Church. Much more can be learned about Reverend Ball via the St. Catherine Museum, Dictionary of Canadian Biography, and more. And happy Father's Day, June 16th, 2024. Great grilling gifts for Dad this Father's Day. Grilling is a convenient way to impart flavor on various foods and enjoy some fresh air and sunshine along the way. Many people work hard to hone their grilling skills, including many of the individuals on Father's Day shopping lists. Grilling is an opportunity for dads to flex their culinary muscles and deliver plenty of flame-licked foods. Various organizations that specialize in grilling have found that men are twice as lucky to grill compared to women. Therefore, the gifts that cater to Dad's grilling gusto can be a deal for Father's Day. Barbecue grill tools. Every grill master needs a quality set of tools to do the job. Ultimate grilling kits have often come complete with spatula, fork, tongs, heat-resistant gloves, skewers, and additional grilling gear. A digital food thermometer. Cooking food to the correct internal temperature is vital for safety and flavor. Various food thermometers are on the market, but ones that can remain in the food and then send temperatures back to an app via Bluetooth can keep grillers apprised of the cooking progress minute by minute. Engraved cutting board. Laser engraved cutting boards can be customized with special messages or monograms so that Dad will feel extra special serving up his grilled feast. Premium wood chunks. Food can be enhanced with extra flavor when grill masters utilize wood during cooking. Put together a gift package with woods like hickory, apple, and maple. A smoker. Expand Dad's outdoor setup by buying him a smoker. Smokers enable low and slow cooking and are ideal for making briskets, pork roasts, and ribs. Some smokers come with the combination models that have a grill on one side and a smoker box on the other. Meat grinder. Whether it's a freestanding appliance or an attachment for a stand mixer, a meat grinder enables a person to make his own custom blends of ground meats to use in burgers or sausages. This allows full control over the quality of the meat cuts used. Personalized grill mat. This type of mat will add a personal touch to the grilling area. These mats look good, and many are made with anti-slip backing to ensure they stay in place. Standing on the mat can be more comfortable than standing on concrete or pavers. Dad deserves the best for Father's Day. For men who enjoy manning the grill, grilling accessories can heat up gift giving. And a HyLife driver brings home double awards. Seen here, Mario Blackso, pictured with awards in HyLife truck, and Blackso brought home a couple of awards, including Best in Manitoba Win. Mario Blackso, a dedicated livestock driver with HyLife, has achieved an exceptional milestone by winning 2 prestigious awards, the 2024 MTA Volvo Trucks Canada Manitoba Driver of the Year Award and the Manitoba Trucking Association, MTA, Inland Industry Excellence Award. These awards recognize professional truck drivers who have demonstrated exceptional performance, commitment to the industry, safety, and community service. This double recognition underscores Mario's unwavering dedication to his professional, animal welfare, and safety standards. It is always a tough choice for Driver of Year, but Mario is an excellent choice this year. He prioritizes safety and animal care. He is a cheerleader for the industry and a great ambassador. His efforts to support other drivers are what trucking is about, helping each other and working together to get the job done safely. He embodies everything we talk about as key components of our industry: safety, community, care, and professionalism, said Aaron Doliniak, Executive Director of the Manitoba Trucking Association. With more than 18 years of experience in the hog industry, Mario has fostered a tight-knitted community on the road, offering guidance, support, and camaraderie. For the past 2 years, he has also served as a HyLife driver representative, a role he proudly embraces. I was very surprised, said Bulaxo. I like to Like to keep new drivers hauling livestock every day. My wife opened the letter and she was very happy. She said, "You deserve that." I said, "Maybe I do." She knows how hard I work every day answering the phone and helping drivers. Mario's passion for driving radiates through his work ethic. His HyLife leadership applauds these accomplishments. He exemplifies what it means to be a dedicated ambassador for livestock driving, tirelessly advocating for the industry and its potential. In the past year alone, Mario has referred 9 drivers who now work for HyLife. This unprecedented and highlights his ability to connect with people and share the opportunities available in this field, said Ron Schellenberg, Chief Supply Chain Officer of HyLife. Mario Belaxo's exceptional achievement and unwavering dedication to his profession make him a deserving recipient of both awards. His impact on the trucking industry, commitment to safety, and outstanding of service have set a high standard for all drivers. And that concludes the paper for June 7th, 2024. I hope you enjoyed.